Bismillah ar-Rahman ar-Rahim. In Surah Baqarah, verse 266, Allah says, أَيَوَدُّ أَحَدُكُمْ أَن تَكُونَ لَهُ جَنَّةٌ مِّن نَخِيلٍ وَأَعْنَابٍ تَجْرِي مِن تَحْتِهَا الْأَنْهَارُ لَهُ فِيهَا مِن كُلِّ الثَّمَرَاتِ وَأَصَابَهُ الْكِبْرُ وَلَهُ ذُرِّيَّةٌ ضُعَفَاءُ فَأَصَابَهَا إِعْصَارٌ فِيهِ نَارٌ فَاحْتَرَقَتْ كَذَلِكَ يُبَيِّنُ اللَّهُ لَكُمُ الْآيَاتِ لَعَلَّكُمْ تَتَفَكَّرُونَ. And the translation of this verse is, would one of you like to have a garden of palm trees and grapevines underneath which rivers flow, in which he has from every fruit? But he is then afflicted with old age and has weak children, and it is suddenly hit by a whirlwind containing fire, and everything is burned. Thus does Allah make clear to you His verses that you might give thought. Now, a rising problem in Pakistan is depression or feelings of unworthiness because the person was unable to become a doctor. This is especially true for females because they have been told from childhood that they have to grow up to be a doctor. That is the only definition of success. Anything else is failure. So with all the amazing careers out there, there is only one that is acceptable. And then, of course, you can imagine the plight of the girl who has heard this all her life, has been forced to only dream about this all her life, and then suddenly one day she finds out that she failed the exam and she couldn't make it. So naturally she feels humiliated, as if all her relatives now look down upon her, as if she's an embarrassment and a burden to her family because she was not able to live up to their expectations, and now there is nothing else that she can do. But my message to such girls is, have you considered that maybe Allah is saving you from disaster? This verse gives an example of a man who worked all his life dedicated to just one thing. He was obsessed by it, and he worked day in and day out to grow this beautiful piece of property. His property had palm trees, grapevines, rivers, every kind of fruit imaginable. Now, because he spent his entire youth focusing on this garden, he didn't have time to think about the one thing that he was created for, serving Allah. He didn't do anything for Islam or for Allah's makhluk. Perhaps he thought that, when I'm old and this garden has become firmly established, I can then dedicate work to Allah. But when he became old, it took one hot, blazing wind to destroy everything. And now with young children who need to be fed, he has no choice but to start working again, day in and day out, to earn a living. Now when he's old, again, there is no time for Islam. For many girls, becoming a doctor is the same thing. Work hard, spend every hour of your youth chasing this obsession so that you can please your parents, and you can think about tafseer or Allah or charity or Islam later. You can think about these things after you become a doctor. In fact, I know so many girls who say, "Ma'am, when I become a doctor, I will then do so much for Islam and so much for the poor." But when you don't even know if you will be alive tomorrow, why risk it all by planning to do something years later when you become a doctor? Because what if you don't? Or what if you do, but then just like the man in the verse, you lose everything and you have to work harder in old age? So again, you don't have any time for Islam. Or what if you don't even have that much life? So perhaps maybe by making you fail the exam, Allah is opening your eyes and letting you know that do not obsess over this profession. Do not worship it. If Allah can give it to you, He can also take it away from you. And failing that one exam is a brilliant example of how it takes 1 second for Allah to take something away from you. So focus on your akhirah. Maybe you're just not meant to be a doctor. Maybe you're meant to be great in something else. Or maybe if you try harder next time in the exam, you can pass, you can become a doctor. But by making you fail the first time, Allah is making you understand that there is a greater purpose to life. Open up your eyes. Don't forget this. Don't forget that every second spent today counts. You will need it to save you in the akhirah. At that time when you are standing in front of Allah on the Day of Judgment, you cannot say, "Allah, I was not able to do anything for you or for your religion because you did not make me a doctor." or because you finally did make me a doctor, but I just didn't have time. I failed the exam the first time, then I had to study again. So ultimately, I didn't have much time for Islam. So remember, while studying, while working hard, dedicate more and more time to tafsir, Islam, and helping Allah's makhluk. Otherwise, you will lose this world and you will definitely lose the akhirah. Instead of feeling depressed and feeling worthless, as if you are a failure just because you failed the exam, try and understand that maybe this is an eye-opener. Maybe there is some other great career for you, or maybe this is the career for you, but now is the time to learn that studying and working hard towards your profession is not the purpose of your existence. Make sure you are dedicating enough time side by side to gaining knowledge and to doing good deeds, the actual things that will count on the Day of Judgment. Assalamu alaikum.